Hey everybody, Brian Kapple here with the Athens Real Estate Company. I just did a video on some of the processes of selling a house, and there was some discussion in it about like dual agency and split agency and stuff. So I thought maybe it was a good reminder for me to maybe just do a quick video. We're going to talk about Ohio requirements for agency relationships. What I have here shared on my screen, this is out of my dot loop. This is what we use to make our documents and do signatures and everything. This is the Athens Real Estate Company copy of the Ohio Consumer Guide. Now, these are verbatim throughout the state of Ohio, absent that first paragraph. The state has given brokers some discretion on, like we have done here, or like Ali Rapley and the rest of the other brokers. We are pleased to have, we are pleased you have selected the Athens Real Estate Company. So, besides that, everything is the same. Now, a quick FAQ time. These are required anytime I show people property. These are required for me to read and then also ask you to initial a couple of pages and sign the back page. I've had folks say that they don't want to sign them. I told them that's fine, but if they just, give me the courtesy of about a minute, minute and a half, then I can go through this with them, and then I just write refused on there. But required by law. And the same thing for sellers as well. Okay. So if your real estate agent, your realtor, does not read you this, that's a clue. Ask them. Sometimes they'll forget. I have forgotten a time or two, but only while it's been in the house. But again, I can't stress enough. Ohio has a lot of requirements for real estate agents. And quite frankly, coming from law enforcement for the time that I spent there, now, we have a lot of CEs and things like that we were supposed to do, annual gun qualifications, but the licensing law, and then you have on the administrative side, NAR Code of Ethics, the Ohio Realtors Code of Ethics. There's a lot more, look down from the state and stuff with the real estate agents, believe it or not. All right, I'm going to do this really quick. I'm 3 minutes into it. Representing sellers and buyers, pretty much it's the same thing. Most sellers of real estate choose to list their home for sale with a real estate brokerage. When they do, they sign a listing agreement. Buyers, when purchasing real estate, buyers usually work with a real estate agent as well. Also, now, since August, buyers are now required to sign a buyer's agency agreement with the brokerage. It's required if I am to do business. Okay. So it's not required on the buyer side. They could say, nope, I'm not signing that. So, anyway, so, if a buyer agrees to work with us, that's a buyer's agency. Obviously, it's a seller's agency. Excuse me. Both of these are the same as fiduciary duties. We follow either the seller or buyer's lawful instructions, be loyal to either the buyer or seller, promote the buyer or seller's best interest, disclose material facts to either party, maintain confidential information, act with reasonable skill and care. That means I need to know how to do my job excellent, and also account for any money they handle any transactions. There are sometimes a listing broker may offer sub-agency to other brokerages. That's something that is a little bit deeper in the weeds to this. It only applies to sellers. I'm not going to get into that. Dual agency. This is a big unknown one for a lot of people. So dual agency is occasionally the same agent and brokerage who represents the seller also represents the buyer. This is referred to as dual agency. When a brokerage and its agents become dual agents, we maintain a neutral position in the transaction. we cannot advocate the position of one client over the best interests of the other client or disclose any confidential information to the other party without written consent. Now, the beauty of this, if you're a seller's agent, you can, in theory, when it comes to compensation time, if there's some buyer's agency compensation there, seller's agent may opt to, or would not, but would more than likely receive what I call both sides of the commission. I don't like doing that because, I feel like if a seller signed up for me, then I am expected to solely represent them. So I feel like me going into a dual agency position, I'm playing Switzerland there in the middle. I'm just a pass through, and I can't help anybody. And I don't know, something about that, it just doesn't feel right. So there's that. Anyway, dual agency. This can only happen with permission of both sides. So if I've got a buyer that's okay with it, I might run with it. I don't know. I've not had that happen yet because I'm usually pretty candid on my thought process. But sometimes a lot of sellers have already came to that thought themselves. Okay. So anyway, representing both the buyer and seller, same brokerage. Okay. This is not dual agency. This is our brokerage and our agency policy. This is called split agency, right? Same broker, one agent represents the buyer, one agent represents the seller, same fiduciary duties. The broker is the person in the middle, the neutral person. They cannot share any information. Nothing confidential goes out. I get to work with, let's say I have the buyer side. I get to stay 100% dedicated, committed to the buyer. The seller, I'm sorry. And then if it's an Athens real estate agent that has the buyer, they get to stay fully committed to the buyer side. Okay. Split agencies are good. I really like those a lot. Now, Ohio law also requires brokers to say what kind of agency that their brokerage is. So that's what this paragraph talks about. Athens Real Estate does offer representation to both buyers and sellers. Therefore, the potential exists for one agent to represent a buyer who wishes to purchase property listed with another agent or company. If this occurs, each agent will represent their own client. Okay, I just said that. But AREC and its managers act as a dual agent. So what's that mean again? They are Switzerland, and each of the agents gets to do their thing with their respective clients. In the event that both the buyer and seller are represented by the same agent, that agent and AREC will act as a dual agent, but only if both parties agree. Okay. As a dual agent, they will treat both parties honestly, prepare and present offers at the direction of the parties, and help the parties fulfill the terms of any contract. We cannot disclose any confidential information that would place one party at an advantage over the other, or advocate or negotiate to the detriment of either party. So if dual agency occurs, you will be asked to consent to that in writing. If you do not agree to your agent acting as a dual agent, you can ask that another agent in our company be assigned to represent you, or you can seek representation from another brokerage, right? As a buyer, you may also choose to represent yourself on properties AREC has listed. In that instance, AREC will represent the seller, and a buyer by themselves would represent their own best interests. So, this is why this is required reading before we sign any listing agreements, before I'm allowed to even show you any property. Technically, I can't let you even start walking around the house until that happens. All right. Lastly, working with other brokerages. How much time? 10 minutes. Okay. I'm about done. When Athens Real Estate lists property for sale, it also cooperates with and offers compensation to other brokerages that represent buyers. So AREC does reserve the right in some instances to vary the compensation it offers to other brokerages. So as a seller, you should understand that just because ARAC shares a fee with a brokerage representing a buyer, it does not mean that you will be represented by that brokerage, right? So instead, that company will be looking out for the buyer, and ARAC will be representing your best interests. So basically, all this says is we will cooperate with other brokerages, obviously outside per se the jurisdiction of the Athens Real Estate Company, right? The purview, maybe. So 9 times out of 10, this is how properties get sold. It is another brokerage and another real estate agent not affiliated with the Athens Real Estate Company that brings that buyer to the table. All right. Fair housing statement. Those are required also. I'm not going to read that right now. So I will say that Ohio's fair housing law has one, maybe 2 more elements to it than what federal fair housing does. And then obviously place to sign. So anyway, I wanted to go over that really quick. So it just took a little bit above 10 minutes. That's not bad. And just to give you an idea, right? It's a complicated process. State law and the good realtors are going to go over this and make sure that you all understand it. I always tell either buyer or seller, I'm throwing a lot at you right now. And as we go through this process and check boxes, if something's going to circle back to this consumer guide to agency relationships, I'm going to go back to that and talk with them and discuss about it, right? Just so it stays up on the front end of their minds. So anyway, hey, listen, this is Brian Kapple again, Athens Real Estate Company. If you have any real estate questions, just ask me about real estate, right? Ask away. Send me a text message, email, give me a phone call, whatever you want to do. For these videos, if you like it, if it's good, like it. I'd love it if you share it, and I'd love it even more if you subscribe. So again, ask me about real estate. If you have any questions, give me a call. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a safe, blessed day, and we'll be talking to you soon.